No, I'm not. Just a standard presser. So thanks everyone for coming. Yeah, not a retirement press conference.
Have you thought much more about your future though? Obviously, Mick addressed it last week. Do you know what you want to do again next year?
Yeah, look, I'm pretty clear on what I want to do at the end of the year. At the end of the day, I think it's your body that really decides as to whether or not you keep playing, and it's the the wise thing to do is to make that decision at the end of the year when you know exactly where your body sits. So we'll let everyone know what's going on at the end of the year. I guess that's the easiest way to do it. Yeah, well, I guess it sort of it changes depending on how the year's going. Initially, at the start of the year, you dream of premiership success, and that's what all players are doing. And I guess when that becomes an unrealistic option, as it has for us, it's really now about trying to expel what knowledge you have to the younger guys and try and fast track their development so that next year the club's in a better place. So that's sort of how the focus shifts as the year progresses. I don't know how many different questions there can be asked to ask me if I'm going to play on or not next year, but all will be revealed soon enough, and that's all it is. It's feeling good, thank you. So the body's feeling fine. Looking forward to this week's game against Kangaroos, and that's what can get lost too. I don't. They last 6 weeks to be the potential retirement show. We've got footy to play, we've got fans to please, we've got a lot of growth that needs to occur in our group to hold us in good stead for next year, and that should be the focus for the next 6 weeks of this footy club. Yeah, look, there's been some upside, particularly individually with our group. Blokes like Sam Rowe and Simon White, Levi Casbolt, sort of having career best seasons, and I get excited by some of the young guys we've got as well. Blokes like Dylan Buckley and Cripps, who haven't played a heap of footy this year, but have certainly shown some talent. Not so much just their talent, but their mental appetite to want to succeed. So, yeah, look, we're not happy with where the group sits. We've had some inconsistencies, particularly in games, which we need to improve. But there is some green shoots and some exciting parts to our list. Port Adelaide have shown that it can turn around really quickly if you make smart decisions and get everyone on the same page and get everyone really working hard to achieve a common goal. So, look, it can turn around really quickly, or if those things don't happen, it can take a long time. And I'm confident this footy club will be in the camp that it turns around pretty quickly. Yeah, look, I think the group understands that there's no use just walking around sulking and feeling sorry for ourselves at where we sit. That for things to turn around, we need to take responsibility for where we're at and work really hard. And if we keep doing the right things, then eventually the right results will come. Yeah, look, I think so. I'd probably sit in a similar camp to Mick on that. And I guess it also just really depends on the individual and their personal mindset. Sort of everyone has differing opinions on how they want to finish the game, and some guys will want to finish it feeling still really proud of how they can play, and other guys that want to finish it at a stage where they're just 100% sure they couldn't play another minute of football. And I guess that really comes down to personal preference.
What camp are you in on that one?
No, I think Mick's comments are accurate, yeah, but that's an individual thing for each player. Well, I didn't even know of them until a couple of days later when someone spoke to me about it, but no, look, I think they're fine. I've spoken to Mick in passing about retirement, and I understand that I've got his blessing to go on if I want to go on, and if I want to call it an end this year, then he'll support that decision too. So I'm really clear that I've got his support regardless of which way I choose to go, and I think his comments were fine. Yeah, look, I think so. There's no doubt Mick's incredibly passionate about his football, and particularly on game day, he's still really, almost got white line fever. So it is a balancing act. On the one hand, there's criticism that there's no characters left in the game, and that gets a criticism aimed at a lot of people in the AFL industry. And then I guess when you do have people that show emotion and are passionate about the sport, that gets criticised as well. So, I know for a fact just how highly he rates Cameron Ling. I know he really likes him as a bloke and really rates him as a footy person. So I doubt whatever happened on the weekend, and I wasn't even aware of it at the time, that anything was personally labelled at Lingy. Yeah, it's a hard one to answer because it's never just one thing. when a team's underperforming. But you know, we just keep needing to grow the number of players and the number of people at our club that are, you know, obsessive and really driven about achieving success. And the more people we get in that camp, the better we'll be. Yeah, look, we've got plenty of top 10 draft picks on our list, and 2 or 3 years ago, you wouldn't have named those guys as being blokes to build blokes that were going to rebuild a footy club, but 2 years later they are. So I guess you don't know how guys are going to be viewed in 2 years' time. You only know what they're viewed as now. And as I said, I think that the talent on our list is good. The guys are working hard, and I'm confident in 2 years' time that we'll have some players who are mentioned in the same bracket as those Port Adelaide guys.